Hello, 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 everyone. Good evening, good evening. Hey, Deputy Sheriff, you're number one in here tonight. All right. There you go. Hey, number one. Wow. All right. And Australia. Hey, girlfriend, good to see you. Number two. Number two. PG's little girl. Number three. There we go. There we go. Hey, beautiful Mama PG, much love, prayers. Hey, girl, much love and prayers to you all. Let me see. And Anna, you are number four. You're number four tonight. Hey, PG. Hey, hey, hey to you, girl. God bless. Much love. Oh, wow. SUMMER. Summer. Oh, that is beautiful. PG's little girl. That's beautiful. God bless. Amen. Yeah, absolutely. Even Deputy Sheriff's like, that's beautiful. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely there too. Don't forget to show me the love, girl. There you go. There you go. Good to see everyone tonight. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Beautiful. See all the people in here. Hey, Suzanne, how you doing, sweetie? Lady Q. Jenna, how you doing? Let me see. Spread love. There's Peanut. How you doing? Marla, how you doing? Seeking Truth. Good to see you. Don. Oh, that's beautiful, Don. That's beautiful. Hey, Chris, how you doing tonight, sweetie? Good to see you. Leslie, how you doing? There's Christy. Carmen. Amanda, how you doing, sweetie? Grieving Mama. Oh, that's beautiful. Prayers for all the missing children. Prayers for all of Summer's Army. Tons of prayers and hugs and friendship and love from Oklahoma. Oh, girl, that is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Hey, Jane, how you doing tonight? Good to see you in here. Tropicana. Oh, Purple Hearts. Much love and Purple Hearts for Summer. God bless. Hey, Donna, how you doing, sweetie? All right, PG's to the bottom. We're to the bottom. Oh, Patty Ponytail, almost missed you, girlfriend. PG Mods chat, much love to you, girl. You know it. Hey, Big, how you doing? Number 25, right? Ruby Rainmaker, how you doing, sweetie? Oh, that is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Suzanne says 27. Right? That is cute. That is cute, you guys. Anyway, boy, there's a lot going on in all the cases, right? A lot going on, you guys. I guess Jack and Lily's case, the boyfriend, right? He's got, from what I'm understanding, he's got a girlfriend, maybe had a girlfriend, before Jack and Lily, a little something on the side, before Jack and Lily even went missing. I don't know. That's through the grapevine right now. That's through the grapevine. I'm not, I ain't there, so I can't confirm it. But to my understandings, he wasn't waiting around for mommy to come back. He done hooked up with something else, or was already hooked up with something else beforehand. So, Daniel, obviously, wasn't in it to win it, like he said, Um, he was taking care of the kids, doing everything for the kids because, you know, the mother wasn't and wouldn't and so forth and so on. I don't know about that. There's something, you know, shady. There's something awful shady in Jack and Lily's case as well. And then you got Sebastian's case, which like it's really faded. It's really faded away from, you know, away from the mainstream. Um, it isn't overly getting very much attention anymore, right? It's not getting much attention anymore in any area, to be honest with you, which I assumed that was going to happen. And Michael Vaughn, I mean, you barely hear about him out here in the YouTube community as well. So Sebastian and Michael Vaughn, you know, well, Michael, he faded. He faded a long time ago. And it seems like Sebastian's case is going in the same direction. I think Summer's case would have done faded as well had, you know, this channel not been keeping her alive out here, you know, pushing and hoping to be found. And it's a shame, you know, it's a shame that creators don't bond together, you know, actually for all the children and try to push as hard as they can, you know, to get, don't leave none behind, you know, try to incorporate all of them, you know, all of them equally together and do your best, you know, your best for them as much as possible. That's, you know, that would be, I think that would be, you know, a more logical thing to do, to be honest with you. But that ain't how it works. That isn't how it works out here, you guys. This is, you know, I always hear the creators say, you know, this is just entertainment purposes, you guys, you know, and so forth and so on. And, you know, they ain't going to be held responsible for anything being said and so forth and so on. And, you know, it's just entertainment. That's it. And I guess so. You know, I guess it is. You know, I thought it should be a little more than that. I thought it was, to be honest with you, but, you know, kind of a shame to hear those words, you know. I was, you know, I was under the impression that, you know, this wasn't, I mean, who in the hell entertains people with missing children? Who does that? That's, you know, it's just weird. It's just weird if you ask me. I thought that these people were out here to, you know, collect as much information as they could to help the child be found, brought home, and justice served. You know, that's why you go and you talk to witnesses and the people close and around the case. You know, and if it's just, you know, entertainment for you, then you should not be out here. Because I don't find that shit entertaining at all. I mean, why, you know, why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? You know, what I'm saying is, it's like, they're basically saying that they don't care either. You know, they don't care either. They got a channel, it's entertainment, and they don't care as well. You know, they don't care no more than the people that ain't caring, right? It's just something for them to do, you know, to profit off of. That's it. That's it, you know. They're blowing smoke up your ass. That's, you know, basically, you know, what I'm hearing when I hear that shit. And it kind of, you know, I heard it tonight, pissed me off. I'm not going to lie. And, you know, I just don't think you should grab a kid, a missing child, and use it for entertainment. purposes. That's just bullshit. It's bullshit. And if that's what this out here is all about, man, I think I got hooked up in the wrong places, right? I don't, I don't really want to be a part of something like that. I don't want to be no part of something that's just, like that. I think that people should be working for these missing kids. These kids depend on people to be their voice. They depend on you out here to, to show their picture and to, do all you can. All you can. Like, they depend on you to raise the roof, to try to help find them. Right? This ain't no game. This ain't a game. This ain't entertainment. This is serious. These children, these victims are missing. They're missing. They don't have a voice. They need a voice. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you should be afraid to be out here. You should be afraid to be out here for any other reason than the righteous reason. And that's to actually try to help and do all you can to get these kids found, brought home, and justice served upon the evil beings doing all of this. That's my opinion. I'm going to keep it. But I just, it is what it is. It is what it is, I'm glad I'm not responsible for anybody else's sins, right? I'm not responsible for other people's sins. I think it's sinful to pick up a case. If I would have picked up Michael Vaughn's case, I would have been sticking with Michael Vaughn's case, right? I'd have been out here. I'd have had his picture, and I'd have been, doing everything I could to rattle the cage, to get, to get those 4 people talking and trying to figure out where this little boy is, and so he could be brought home and justice could get served. If I picked up Sebastian Rogers' case, I would have stuck to it and seen everybody through it till the very end. It's just what you do. You don't all of a sudden flip over into, oh, what case is big? What case is going to get the likes and the views? What cases are going to get a ton of people in there to so I can pay my rent and eat all month for doing nothing but YouTube? That's bullshit. Just saying. It's bullshit. But that's what it's about. That's what it's about. And it's sad to see people supporting that. Phoebe, will you be turning 25 again for the 36th time? I hope it's a good day filled with the ones you love most and the cake is moist and sweet. He laughed big and said a man from Maine knows him. Who laughed? Who laughed big, said a man from Maine knows him? Yeah, that's what they need to do is get a job. I work one every single day, right? I work one every single day, and I'm still out here doing this. I'm still out here doing this. So, don't tell me you can't do both, but you can. Yeah, happy birthday. Happy birthday to Phoebe, right? I heard it's her birthday. It's your birthday. You can cry if you want to. Right? Oh, okay. Okay, Sally. Pandu. Pandu. Where the hell did he get a name like that? Should be Poo Poo, not Pandu. All right. I don't know what's up with that guy. He's like, did you guys see him last night? Did you see him last night? Like, wellsy, wellsy, woo woo. I'm not going to sit up all night. I'm not going to mess up my sleepy schedule for PJ. I'm not going to do it for PJ. I'm going to bed, y'all. Good night. And like, ran off, ran off with the wham, wham, wham. Yeah, probably had to go make yourself a baby bottle, right? Go make yourself a baby bottle. See if you couldn't get somebody to change his diaper. Yeah. It was bad. It was bad. I mean, he just went mayhem, like, but he did admit those were TVs. Those were TVs that he was using for monitors. I mean, like, what? You know, wow. I guess, and those people over there, in that cesspool of evilness, they need to, you know, they need to kind of like, tip him. They need to tip him, you know. I mean, he comes on, he keeps them entertained over there, right? He keeps all those um, evil, evil humans entertained over there. They should be tipping him a few bucks so he can at least get a real monitor. How embarrassing was that? How embarrassing was that? Two big old TV sets. Who does that? Who puts up two big TV sets and uses them as monitors? That is so freaking weird. Like, I don't know anybody that uses TV sets for anything other than to watch TV. I don't know. That's kind of you know. I mean, even if you got a surveillance system, you're watching it off of a monitor, right? You're monitoring it. Um, out of the office of your home or whatever. Um, but yeah, it's like, how weird is that? Right? I'm like, whoa, that is that's like some Spanky and the gang stuff, right? That's like some Spanky and the gang stuff. Hey, Alfalfa, could you find another TV set we can use here? Right? Oh, shoot. Yeah, wait a minute. Spanky, I gotta wrap my belt around my pants 3 more times. The guy I got him from, he was really huge. Right? They keep falling down. Oh, shoot. They crack me up. They crack me up. especially Andrew, right? I ain't ever seen anybody that can, lose their crap like he does, right? You say the least little word, and that dude is like straight, like, I don't know. He's like Karen, right? He's like a Karen. Yeah. It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch. But he cracks me up. Hey, Vic, I appreciate it. God bless. Anyway, I wanted to come in tonight. I wanted to actually talk about, um, I actually wanted to talk about some of the stuff that went on in Summer's case, you know, um, from day one. From day one, they was trying to hold the boys. Don and Candace, if you notice, they didn't take the boys. For a few weeks. The boys were still up there for a few weeks after Summer went missing. I think that's because law enforcement, I think they were left up there so they could get comfortable with law enforcement, and from time to time they would be able to speak with them. I think the whole time they were planning to take them out, but I think they left them, so they could get comfortable around law enforcement, and some of the officers could possibly, get some information about the case out of the boys here and there. That's my opinion. And I'm probably right. And, but Don and Candace, excuse me, I got this cold. I wish it would go away. Don and Candace, didn't think they were going to lose the boys. They didn't think the boys were going anywhere. I believe that they thought they were, kind of home free when the boys were getting to stay there and so forth and so on. I think they thought that, they had some kind of free ticket. And, the boys weren't they were getting comfortable, and they thought the boys weren't going to get took, but they did. But, surprise visit, when law enforcement said, hey, we can't clear these parents. Matter of fact, they're number one suspects on right now. Child Protective Services swooped in, picked the kids up, and took off out of there with them. And I'm sure that was, very shocking for Candace. I don't think Donald so much. I think Don saw it coming, but I think Candace was like, oh crap. And because I believe Donald was assuring her that, none of the other kids were going to end up gone, taken or anything, that everything was going to be fine, that, that they had already, gaslighted the hell out of law enforcement, and everything was going to be stable. And to find out they didn't, right? They didn't. And I think it was a shock to Candace. Pretty good shock to her. So when the boys got took, Candace, and Don kept telling her, we're going to get them back. We'll get them back. We got people, money's coming in. We got people to help fix the house. We got, we're going to, get the boys back, Candace. Don't worry, Candace, kind of keeping her on the string until, she kind of, started liking the fact that, her freedom. She started liking her freedom, right? All these people to talk to, all these places to go, all these people, coming to her rescue, coming to her aid, wanting to befriend her, and she started to feel special. And she didn't, at that point in time, she's like, oh, we can get the boys back whenever, because, I'm starting to feel like, the freedom that I had before we ever had any kids. And it's kind of, fun not to have no responsibility or have anything to worry about, or have these kids around that might say something or talk or do something that, can cause us to, to mess everything up and end up in prison over. So, with all of this going on, they were, Candace felt that she had this big plan with Child Protective Services. And when the 6 months came, she didn't get them back. She's like, oh, what the heck, go another 6. And then, another 6 came, and she still didn't get them back. And then finally, it was going into 2 years, and Child Protective Services says, look, we're going to prosecute, sign the kids over to avoid prosecution, or we're going to prosecute and take them anyway. So they basically voluntarily signed the kids over to the state to avoid prosecution. That's my opinion, and I'm sure that's what happened. But it is what it is. And during this whole time, early on, they really wasn't talking about, they had a gag order, supposedly on the boys, but they were afraid of the judge, afraid to talk, afraid to, where the boys was concerned, even though they did a little bit here and there. But they really didn't have no problems talking about the boys, even with gag orders. They didn't have a problem speaking about the boys, but they had a real problem speaking about Summer, right? Summer was fading off into the background the whole time, like from day one. All Don and Candace had to say is, there's no reason to be out there looking for her. We know she's not out there. Get off our property. Go look for her somewhere else other than here, because she's not here. So go look for her somewhere else, because we don't want you up here. We don't want you up here disturbing us, talking with YouTubers and bringing in all of our money and stuff. We don't want you. You're cramping our style. We can't be doing what we like to do, and you know what they like to do. We can't be up here doing what we like to do with you guys all over us. And, we want you off the property. So, we done told you. We done told you, the story we want you to follow, Mr. Law Enforcement. We want you to follow the abduction story that we gave you, because we don't want you on our damn property getting all up in our business, cramping our freaking style up here, right? Nobody wants you hanging around. Get lost. Go look for Summer somewhere else, basically. And that's their story. They were sticking to it, and they didn't want to talk about Summer, because that's the one thing that could get them in prison. Well, if they were actually innocent, then, they could have talked about her all they wanted to. Because if you're innocent, they're not going to be, they're not going to be putting you in prison, right? They're not going to there's no reason. You don't have to be afraid to talk about your child if you didn't do nothing. But they were afraid. They were showing fear. They didn't want to talk about her. And it's because that's the one thing that would put them in prison. They were afraid of fucking up and slipping up. And if you didn't do anything, you're not going to be worried about fucking up and slipping up, right? That clarifies it right there. And that's what they were afraid of. That's my opinion. I'm going to keep it, but we all know it's true, right? We all know it's the truth. And it just is what it is. And Anyhow, they didn't want to talk about Summer. You know, they didn't ever want to talk about Summer. And that's why. That's exactly why they didn't want to talk about this little girl. And, you know, and why would law enforcement go following, why would law enforcement go chasing a ghost? Why would they go chasing some ghost just because Don and Candace Wells told them to? You know, why would they even consider abduction when this is what these people want, right? And if that's what they want, then it's more than likely didn't happen. So, you know, you need to look right there at these people that ain't wanting to speak about this child because they're scared that it's going to put them in prison. They're wanting, you know, they made up a bullshit story to get you off the property, and they're pushing for one narrative, which is called abduction. Why would you follow it? Why would you even follow it? Law enforcement should have said, no, we're not following that. There's no signs of it, so we're not going to be following it. Right? What the signs are, you said she didn't wander off. That's your words. And you know, who are we not to believe you? If you say she didn't wander off, then you must know where she's at. And if you know where she's at, then she couldn't be abducted. Right? Nobody took her if you already know where she is. You know, so basically, I would have told Don and Candace, you put both things out of the equation the minute that you said that you know for sure she didn't wander off. The second you said that, you put abduction out of the equation as well. Because if you knew she didn't wander off, then you had to know what happened. And if you know what happened, then no one could have been abducting her. So you knocked both of these things out of the ballpark right then and there. So we've only got one thing, foul play. That's you, right? You knowing it all. And that's it. And how come they didn't arrest her upon that? I don't know. I have no idea. She should have been put in handcuffs. If nothing else, for the suspicion. You know, they can arrest you just under suspicion that you did something, right? They don't have to know you done it. They could arrest your ass just upon a suspicion. And at least take you down, interrogate the crap out of you for 70 some hours and put you through, you know, a big ringer of hell. And, but they didn't do none of this. And you got to ask yourself, why? Why, Mr. Law Enforcement, didn't you be more aggressive in a 5-year-old missing little girl's case? When you knew that these people's blowing smoke up your backside, right? You knew they was gaslighting the hell out of you. They was picking and choosing what they wanted instead of what it was. What was going on here? You know, what the heck's going on? That's my question. But Don and Candace, you know, they wanted to talk about the boys, and they wanted to talk about religion, and they wanted to talk about the sisters in Utah. They wanted to play games. They wanted to throw the whole community and then a few other people under the bus to keep the focus off themselves. I mean, there is no way in hell law enforcement didn't see all the signs that they did it, right? They couldn't have missed that shit. Or obviously, you know, if law enforcement missed all the signs that, you know, the Wells were actually the guilty parties, then they all need to be, you know, retrained or let go. And get some people in there that's a little damn smarter. Because I think a grade school child could have figured this one out. That's just my opinion. I'll keep it. But I wanted to, refresh your all's memories of how, Don and Candace, Don says Child Protective Services, DCS stole our boys, right? Stole our boys. And there's a lot of funny stuff. A lot of funny stuff's been going on. We're going to go down the rabbit hole over the next few days. We're going to go down the rabbit hole. I might end up having a members only live because of some sensitive, but then again, maybe not. I may just bring it to the forefront, and it is what it is. It is what it is. So we'll see. But we're going to be going down the rabbit hole over the next few days. And we've already started. We started with what happened at the swimming hole, how these people's been acting and reacting. We went through Don and Candace and all, what all the shit Candace was involved in. We're going to go back over that tonight a little bit and then some. And we're not going to stop there. There's a whole lot more, and there's more coming in right now too. There's more coming in. So, we're learning more every day. So, over the next few days, just buckle up and be ready. It's going to be a roller coaster ride, right? It's going to be a roller coaster ride. So let's do this.
Okay. Yeah. And so, what is your plan now? I mean, what is your outlook?
Well, my only plan now is just, no matter what happens, either way, I'm stay in church, be a commandment keeper, and wait for the resurrection day.
No matter what, they're trying to talk to him about Summer, about his daughter. But he has this to say.
Yeah. And so, what is your plan now? I mean, what is your outlook?
Well, my only plan now is just, no matter what happens, either way, I'm stay in church, be a commandment keeper, and wait for the resurrection day. But
what are you going to do now? Well, I'm going to stay on law enforcement's ass. I don't know where my daughter is, but it's their job to find her. They need to be doing what their job is. I'm going to be talking to my attorneys. I'm going to keep my attorneys on law enforcement to get this case solved, because there was another little girl in the area that went missing, and they didn't stop till they found her, because she was some relation with these people. And that's how it is. It's like this big clique. And if you're outside of the clique, they really don't, do everything they can to solve a case, in my opinion. But, I think with the good people backing us and a good attorney that we have hired, with all the support from the supporters coming in, I think that we're going to be able to put enough pressure on law enforcement to get our child found out there, just like the other child was found as well. That's what I think we're going to go from here. We're going to, double up and double down on finding my daughter, because she's missing and she needs to be found. You don't understand. I'm a parent. I need to know where my daughter's at. I need to know if she's still with us or she's not with us. You can't rest when your child's out there and you don't know. So we're going to do everything we can to find her. This is about her. It ain't about me. It's not about her mother. It's not about her grandmother. It's not about her brothers. It's not about anyone. It's about her. and she needs to be found. And if you know of any way of getting more help to get this done, please let us know. We are accepting all the help we can get. I think that's what should have been being said. Put a 1 in the chat if you think that is what should have been being said. Not, oh, well, I'm going to stay in the church and be a commandment keeper and just just stand around, wait around, really, just to be honest with you, it's not me missing, so I don't care kind of thing, right? Fucking duh. But I'll see her in the resurrection, right? I'll see her up in the resurrection. You might see her in the resurrection, but you're going to be on the side where the goats are, right? You better look over at the sheep if you want to see her. Right? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about right there. This is insane. Like, they don't even want to speak about Summer. They don't want to talk about Summer. They want to talk about every damn thing but this little girl. Everything but her. And that's true. That's true.
I see. I promise you that. They have been.
Do you think you're going to be the person in the end that gets in trouble for Summer?
Oh, it's very possible, yeah. Oh, yeah. Just Chris the list, and all that stuff, yeah. But you know what? I'll gladly take that fall for my daughter's life.
Wow, listen to that.
Even though I'm not guilty of it?
I'll gladly take that fall for my daughter's life. Well, he's saying she's passed away. I'll gladly take the fall for my daughter's life, even though I'm not guilty of it. So, he's basically saying he knows who is. He's saying, I know what happened to my daughter, right? At the swimming hole. I know who took my daughter out. I didn't do it, but I know who did. But I'll gladly take the fall for my daughter's life because he knows she's not with us anymore, right? That's basically what he's saying right there. I mean, he's saying Summer's gone. He's saying Summer's gone and he knows, he didn't do it, but he knows who did. You got to read between the lines with these people. You heard it with your own ears. Let me play it for you again. That's exactly what he said. That's my opinion. I'm going to keep it because that's what I heard.
I see. I promise you that. They have been.
Do you think you're going to be the person in the end that gets in trouble for Summer?
Oh, it's very possible, yeah. Oh, yeah. Just Chris the list, and all that stuff, yeah. But you know what? I'll gladly take that fall for my daughter's life. Even though I'm not guilty of it.
Even though I'm not guilty of it, that means he knows she's gone. She's deceased. And even though I'm not guilty of it, he's saying, I know who did it. I know who did it. I know it wasn't me, so I know who did do it.
I mean, the only thing is, I want to be here for my boys.
I want to be here for my boys. My daughter's gone. I want to be here for my boys. I want to be here for my boys.
I want to keep doing me so I can do my boys. And Summer will always be here with me. No matter what anybody says.
And I don't like saying this, and I don't want to say this at all, but I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys because they're still here and still living.
They're still here. They're still living. My boys, my boys, my boys. That right there tells us that both of these mother freakers, both of them are telling us Summer is no longer with us. They know that Summer is no longer alive. I'm going to tell you now. They're, in my opinion, they're guilty as hell. Guilty as hell for what happened to that little girl. Summer was like a bubble gum wrapper to them. She was like a mother freaking bubble gum wrapper to them. She was disposable. Summer was disposable to the Wells. They didn't care. What they done was no different than throwing out a bubble gum wrapper to them. Because that's how evil they are. They have no sense of freaking mercy, no sense of kindness, no sense of love, no sense of anything. These people are complete. I'm going to tell you how they're fucking numb. When it comes to feelings, these people are numb. They have none. And people like that exist. People like that exist. They can't care about any damn thing. They don't really even care about their self. They really, don't care about their damn self. And they certainly don't care about these children. And they sit there, I'm wanting to talk about the boys. Well, them boys are like bubble gum wrappers too. Them boys are as disposable as Summer was. Trust and believe it. Trust and believe they were as disposable. And if something would have happened to them, they'd be disposed of as well. Because Don and Candace care about nothing but keeping their own backsides out of prison. And I wouldn't put a mother freaking bullfrog on that property. And even if it had 1,000,000 warts, I wouldn't put it on there because I wouldn't wish the harm on that bullfrog. Right? I wouldn't wish the harm on it. Because Don and Candace going to try to catch it. And God knows what they'd be doing to it. But they're wanting, they want to talk about the boys. They don't want to talk about Summer. They're telling you Summer's gone. Get over it. That's what they're telling you. She's gone. Get over it. We have. Get over it. Right? That's exactly what they're saying. Don Wells is one of those people that feel that was my daughter. If I wanted to destroy her and do something really bad to her, that's none of your guys' damn business. That's nobody's damn business but mine and Candace's. That was our child. That's how Don Wells thinks. He was like, those girls moved in my dad's house. Those were my stepsisters. I could do whatever I wanted with them. It's none of your business. If I want to violate people and I want to do bad things to people that's around me, that I have access to, that I want to feel like I own, then I can own them and do whatever I want with them. And it's not your business. Because this is how this insane human being thinks. Right? Just saying. That's my opinion. I will keep it. That is the mind frame that Don Wells has. And Candace as well. Candace wants to do whatever it takes to keep her Donnie happy. Candace ain't holding on to Don Wells. She's holding on to a place to live. She's holding on to money, someone to keep her up and support her. She's holding on to, you know, all of her habits and wants and needs to be met. She don't give a fuck about Don Wells. If anybody else would take her and keep her nasty backside up, she'd be gone. She would be gone. It's not Don Wells holding her there. It's the fact nobody else wants that ass. Nobody else wants that kind of evilness around them. They ain't going to put up with her. She's mother freaking, and this is my opinion. She's mother freaking lazy and crazy. That's my opinion, right? I'm going to keep it. She looks like a worn out shoe. And I'm talking about one of those ones that you put your hand down in and you can stick your mother freaking finger through all the different holes. Right? It's so old that it looks like it can talk. Right? The soul is already disconnected from the freaking shoe. And you can flap it around. You couldn't put it back together with all the thread, super glue, and cardboard that you could find. That's my opinion. She knows how damn worn out she is. Candace knows how worn out she is. She can see in a mirror. And that's why she's jealous of everything else. And she wants to destroy everything else. Right? When you look good, you don't have to be jealous. Right? When your ass looks good, you don't have to be jealous of nothing. Your old man needs to be the one getting jelly, not you. But Don ain't jelly. Because he knows what she looks like too. He's like, this bitch don't take a bath. She be stinking. Right? That's his words, not mine. It's hard to stay in the same room with her. And I believe him. And I hear he stinks too. Right? I heard he stinks too. There was a couple people at the tree lighting thing, and they personally hit me up and said, hey, PG, do you know they stunk? It took everything I had to keep my cookies down. It took everything I had to keep my cookies down. That's how bad they stunk. And there's like 3 people between us. I felt really bad for the other 3. I wasn't even the first in line. I didn't have to hold her hand. I could only imagine if I would have. Right? I mean, could you please ask Jinkies the next time she has one of those tree lighting things, could you please hand out at least be courteous enough to hand out some clothespins so everybody can stick it on their nose, right? I heard the odor was so bad that they didn't only could smell it, they could taste it. It was that thick that they could actually taste it. Now I'm gonna tell you, that would have made me up, Chuck. No shit right there. They should have. Somebody should have handed them a bar of damn soap and said, you know what? Do you need instructions on how to use this? Because obviously, you know, you haven't ever used this stuff here before. You got to find some water, unwrap it, don't leave it in the wrapper. Because I think you might have been leaving it in a wrapper, but then again, you know, it don't look like you've ever had the wrapper would have fell off at some time and you would have gotten clean. And you don't look like you've ever been clean. So, you know, unwrap it, find yourself some water and use that shit, right? It's called rubbity-dub, scrubbity-scrub. Get down, turn around, shake around in that water. I don't give it, you know, I don't care if you air dry or how the hell you dry. Just get a bath, right? And wash your mother freaking clothes while you're at it, because we heard you hang them on the line to dry after you forgot to go to the bathroom, right? And you don't even wash those things. Let's get real. Let's get real. Somebody should have told them. Somebody, you know, they shouldn't have been sending wood up there. They shouldn't have been sending the wood up there. What they should have been sending up there is mother freaking big old barrels of tomatoes, and told Don and Candace, why don't you two start stomping on them, right? Why don't you stomp on them, roll around in them, do something with them? I heard that, you know, tomato juice, make tomato juice out of it, because I heard it takes away stench. And you all freaking, you know, be putting off an odor like you done got sprayed by a skunk. Right? We heard about bears and coyotes and all of this bullshit. But you all look like you ran across some skunks every day of your life. That's disgusting. It's disgusting to be smelling like that and not even have a mother freaking, you know, a freaking one of them coonskin hats on your head. Even Davy Crockett had soap in his pocket, right? That's disgusting.
It's still an apothecary, and you know, and I don't like saying this, and I don't want to say this at all, but I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys because they're still here, it's still living, and it's still an apothecary, and
she wants to talk about, you know, she's got to put the one missing who needs her the most. Who needs her the most to be found. She's got to put that one on the side to focus on the boys who are living in better conditions than they've ever lived in before. They're doing just fine. But she's got to put, you know, she's got to put the one missing on the side. The one that, you know, needed all the focus needs to be put on the side. She's got to put that one on the side, in my opinion, is because she already knows. what happened to her. She put her on the side the day she went to that swimming hole. Right? She put her on the side then for good. That's my opinion. I'll keep it. This is a picture. This is a picture of the group that surrounded Summer Moon Utah Wells. This is the group that has done nothing but played games. Nothing but play games. Right? They did nothing but play games. Tim Mullins there. Tim Mullins, he thinks these little boys should be put back into a house where the little girl came up missing and the parents are #1 suspects. Make that make sense, Tim. I thought you were an educated college man. Don't sound like it to me. That's my opinion. I'll keep it. I don't know where his common sense went. If he ever had any. Right? If he ever had any. But I'm going to tell you, would you want a child around this group of people right here? Would you want any child around these people right here? I don't think so. I don't think so. Those people right there were evil. They were evil as hell. As I told you, they were meeting up at storage units. Why was Candace meeting up at a storage unit where it sounds like human beings were being locked away? And then Candace also comes and gets Jody Sue about the van. Down, this is before Summer went missing. Just shortly before Summer went missing too. They got big storage lockers, hauling tons of people down there to Tennessee. They got vans up on Ben Hill Road, supposedly, according to Jody Sue, selling out children, right? Little girls. Maybe little boys. We don't know. She was just mentioning the one she wanted, right? She wasn't mentioning them all. She just the one she wanted. And we still don't know what happened to that one. There's some sick stuff going on. Then they got Summer dancing around a for-sale barrel. This lady right above Candace's head over when they ran back over it. You remember, they threw Wayne Morlock, right? They threw Wayne Morlock under the bus and got scared and ran back over into Arkansas. And when they ran back over into Arkansas, they met up with a young mother with 3 children who disappeared from the hotel, right? Disappeared from the hotel. Dawn came back there shortly after the woman disappeared. And so did Candace. Right? They both come running back shortly after this mother went missing with her children. Did they have anything to do with that? Sure sound like it, but that's my opinion. It's my opinion. They got in cahoots with old Lisa J, and Lisa J was in cahoots with a RSO, and that's about this, all of this going down at the same time this mother disappears. So 2 and 2 makes 4, right? And that's my opinion. And then they come back over into Tennessee, and the next thing we know, they're video recording these little girls down here. Look at them. There's Candace's shadow, and we know Don was, recording, and basically, it was his camera that we were looking at, but Candace had her own look at her, and she was really recording these little girls too, right? Why was they doing it? And it's then all of a sudden some guys came out in the road and they turned aside. Dawn turned aside first. And Candace wasn't getting, her thick face wasn't getting the memo. She kept going. But then finally, and she turned off too. She got the memo, Dawn's like, what the hell? And she turned off as well, thank goodness. Right? But they were really, you know, really looking into these two little girls down this road right here. And you can see them right there. They are 2 little girls. What the hell was they doing? I mean, what if that was your little girls or your little grandchild? What if that was your family that this was going on with? What would you think then? How would you feel? Yeah. All of this stuff's going on. And I'm going to tell you something. It's not mother freaking normal. It's not normal, you guys. Absolutely not. It's not normal. But I'm going to tell you something. You know, is it hard to believe that these people were into trafficking? That they was into real sinister stuff to do with children? No, it's not hard for me at all, because I'm about to, you know, open the lid on all of this right now, right? As to why I am not shocked. I'm not shocked at all to believe that they're into this shit. He tried to get her. He done something to Summer. Can you come and harass him? Well, we know that they were in the shower. Jose seen something, heard something, and demanded that Summer be taken out of that shower with this guy, right? Get that baby out now. And you know what, Don wasn't going to have it, was he? This is my kid. I own it. I'll do what I want with it. You get the fuck out of here. Mind your own damn business. Right? Because he's a forceful mother freaker like that doesn't care the misery, the pain, the suffering, or the hell he puts anyone else through just so he gets what he wants. And sounds like he's in that shower getting it too, right? Until Jose intervened. And Don still wasn't going to take no for an answer, because at the 911 call, they're out of the shower. They're already out. But he's still going at this child with a lot of aggression, because he felt he had a right to. And if he was going at her, then he would continue to go at her all the way up till she disappeared, right? Because that shit don't stop. It don't stop. It keeps on keeping on. He's still trying to get at her. He's still trying to get at her. Right? This 911 call wasn't about Candace. This 911 call was about Summer and Dirty Don trying to get at her. That's what this 911 call was about. And you heard that little girl screaming. screaming for anyone, someone, help her. No one did. No one did. That's Dirty Don right there, you guys. Dirty Don, right? Because he felt he had some damn right to violate a poor, innocent 4-year-old child in any way he wanted to. And God only knows what those ways were.
You said you had.
Where the f*** you get that shit from?
Don, you said you had
Holy
videotapes
crap.
of me.
What happened?
What?
What did you say, Betty?
I have videotapes of Josh, apparently. What the f***?
I don't know why you're laughing.
Holy
You're the one that
crap.
said it.
Are you serious?
Don, you said.
How do you know that I said that? Why would I say that?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Number one, I don't lie, bitch. You can get that through your.
I don't.
Right.
Oh, but you'd fucking do, Don Wills. You do. Satan is the daddy of all liars. And Don Wills, Satan is your papa. Just like Satan's Candace's daddy, too. You both got the same daddy. Maybe that'll turn you on to each other. Right? There you go. There you go. Freaking sicko. That's my opinion. I'm going to keep that too.
I mean, everybody lies.
No, I don't lie. I don't lie, motherfucker.
I'm not sure why Candace thinks it's so funny. I can play it for you if you want to hear it.
Because my boss called me, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, look, Josh.
Okay.
You can cough or you can suck a dick or whatever you want to do.
All right.
Whatever the f- it is you do, you little.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
But my boss.
Stocking something's on Don Wells' mind, not the labs, right? That's on Don's mind. Don was telling you what he's thinking about, not anybody else when he was talking there. Pretty disgusting, isn't he?
Called me the other day. I am. Yes.
Okay.
Richard.
Oh.
He called me. I said,
He says, Richard, his boss.
Okay.
Richard.
Oh.
He called me. I said that I sold somebody a tape, right? I sold some motherfucker a tape for $5,000 that showed him how to sex with my daughter, right? And then I sold, and he was crying. This motherfucker was actually crying. This motherfucker is like a big shot of this community. Like, oh, holy fuck! And he was crying. He says, "But they're calling me a child molester," and I'm like, I started laughing.
Did you guys find that funny? Because I sure the hell didn't. I sure the hell didn't. The 911 call allowed you to know that Dirty Don was going after his little girl, right? 4 years old. And then he has the audacity to talk about how they sold a videotape of someone else going at her. How could we expect anything less than this little girl needing to be destroyed at some point because of all of the hell and torture that they was putting her through? How much could a 4 and 5 year old little child take from people like this? How much was her body able to hold up to with people going at her like this? That's why she looked sick. That's why she was all bent over. And that's why she had to be destroyed, to save all of their asses so nobody got in trouble for whatever happened She just couldn't hold up to it. She was just a baby. She was 5 years old. Who does that to an innocent little child? Who does that? Monsters. Monsters like them. Candace took a vehicle, right? Don got her a vehicle to drop the charges over the shower incident. She turned on her daughter and she took the vehicle. Oh, the hell with Summer. I'm getting a new car. She knew what was going on in those showers, and she didn't give a damn. She knew what was going on the whole time. You heard her laugh. She was the one in the background. Let me let you hear this bitch again.
Holy fuck. And he was crying. He says, "Could they call me a child molester?" And I'm like, I started laughing.
Really? Really? She's a victim to Donnie? She's a no, the victim was Summer. Summer was a victim to both of these monsters. One's just as evil as the other. Neither one of them bitches should be getting no support from nobody, if you ask me. That's my opinion. I will keep it. After hearing what come out of those own parents' mouths, where their little child was concerned, people should be in disgust. It disgusts the hell out of me to hear these people. I can't believe that there's humans on this earth that fucking sick and demented and evil. It's hard for me to believe, but I see it and I know it. And I gotta face it. In order to help Summer and to keep other children safe, you got to face it. Don't support it. Face it. And get it out of society. Make law enforcement do something about it. Say, hey, this ain't, you're law enforcement. This should not be allowed. Why ain't you doing something? They're sitting there admitting that they did this evilness to this little girl, and you're sitting there doing nothing about it. And if anyone else did that, they'd have their ass in prison. If they walked in your house and found a freaking tape like this, you would be in prison for trafficking your child. But not them. But not them. Ask yourself why. How many bosses was on video recordings? Ask yourself that. Is video recordings the only thing keeping these people's ass safe? Is that what Don and Candace have in order to keep their asses safe? Is that why law enforcement is letting Summer slip into the background, fade in the background as well? Is that why? Because they don't ever seem to come out. They don't ever seem to come out until someone important's talking. Until someone important has their nose in Summer's case, law enforcement ain't doing shit. but trying to gaslight the hell out of everybody as well. That's my opinion. I'll keep it. Oh, no doubt. No doubt. I can believe anything when it comes to that freaking backwooded area. I can believe anything. I don't think, I don't, I don't know. I don't think Ronnie Lawson's son was affiliated with that particular ring. I don't know. It could be. I'm not saying it ain't. I'm just saying that I don't think so. Because he, like Don Wells, had his eyes focused on on one thing that, was right there with him. And that's how they do. That's how they do. Oh yeah. I'm going to tell you, man. It's like, it's like a pedo village down there, right? It's like a big pedo village. You got Don Sherfy's son in jail, for that stuff. Watching it all over the computer. You got the one light guy, Frank, I believe it was Frank Light, was in jail for the same thing. You got all of these people. You got all of these people down there, Ronnie Lawson's son. You got everywhere you turn, every time you turn, even Marlena and her sister-in-law, was turned into DCS for, with allegations of touching her, Marlena's daughter, right? Yeah. It's like, and then Don Wells, you heard the 911 call. You heard the call where he, you heard the call between him and the lab, talking about how, they was allowing his boss to have that Summer. Well, they recorded it. What the hell? What the hell is going on? And why is law enforcement not doing something about all of this? That's my question. Because if it had been anyone else, you would be in jail. You would be in jail for admitting that kind of stuff, especially when you already got a 5-year-old little girl missing, right? And your number one suspects. And the average person would be afraid. The average person would be afraid to be saying stuff like this. The average person would be scared to be saying this. But not Don and Candace. Why? Why are they not afraid? It's like they know. It's like they know that they got a free fucking pass, right? Because of some reason. Some reason they got this free pass. Just saying. So, what the hell's going on there? I mean, law enforcement's looking really damn bad. Hawkins County is looking real bad, and TBI is looking real bad. not solving Summer's case when the parents are out here talking like this. They're looking really bad. They're looking like, you know, they got some shit. They're looking like they got, you know, some shit to be hiding. Like, you know, Don and Candace is running them. They're not running Don and Candace. That's what it's looking like. Just saying. That's my opinion. Yeah. Candace Wells. Candace Wells was working at a carnival. Candace Wells was hooked up with a carnival when she was in Arkansas. That's how she got in Arkansas. Is she went to Arkansas with the carnival. Yeah, she's a mother freaking clown. Right? She's a fucking clown. Exactly, Anna. Exactly. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. Right? Absolutely. Absolutely, Amanda. And you know, I think Andy's knee deep in it as well. Oh wow, Abigail. I appreciate that, girl. You made my night. You made my night. I appreciate that. Gifted 5 Prayer Garden of America memberships. Hey girl, that is a gift that will keep giving. God bless. God bless. I so appreciate it. I really believe Summer's case has exposed some skeletons they want to keep locked in the closet. Second to none. You are so right. You are so right. I agree. I agree. Yeah, I really appreciated that. Summer's channel could absolutely use the support. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, God bless you. I really appreciate that. You don't know how much. Yeah, she is. She's a carny. Absolutely. That's so true. That's so true. Yeah, Candace, you know, Candace was, you know, trying to spend a lot of time around Kathy the friend's little girl, right? But Kathy the friend, I think is, you know, I think it was Kathy the friend out there in the middle of the night at those people's house. That's my opinion. It sure looks like her. It looks exactly like her. And I think it was. And they were doing some sinister stuff out there. They, you know, that was, you know, that was some real sick stuff going on there. You're talking, you know, you're talking occults now. That was real sick. Absolutely. Second to none. You are so right. You are so right. Absolutely. You know, Don and Candace, you know, both of them lived a life of, you know, of living off of other people, you know, any way they could, whether they, you know, forcefully, whether the people, you know, willfully helped or got forced to help, you know, that's how they lived. off the backs of other people. They was always going around looking for some sucker, that they could use and severely abuse, and then, and then move on, leaving that person with a lot of trauma. And that's the way they left all people who, came into their midst. They left all the people with that kind of trauma. Even their own children, they left with that kind of trauma, right? Because they don't care how much they put on someone else. I'm sure Don and Candace sure to hell wouldn't have wanted someone to do what they, plotted and carried out on Summer. And in my opinion, yes, they did plot against this baby, and they did carry it out on June 15, 2021. It's to my understandings that, Chill Billy was running his mouth saying there's this thousands of pound thing down inside of that grave. No, they didn't put the vault in. They put the vault in right before they put the coffin in. And they didn't bury this man till the 18th. And that vault wouldn't have been dropped. It wouldn't have been dropped until they were ready to put the coffin in. Because they wouldn't want, they wouldn't have wanted any waters or anything to be down there on top, down on the vault for the family to see, because they got to lower that casket down there on that, right? They want it nice and dry, and they want the casket nice and dry. So they're not going to take the risk of, a mud puddle being down there on this beautiful, vault that they have to put in there first. So, they dig the hole beforehand, and I think that hole was already dug on the 15th with the tin over it. And they were getting ready to drop the vault, probably the early morning or during the night of the 17th, either on the 17th, the night of the 17th, or early morning of the 18th. And therefore, they had open ground down there to, dig it out, to put a tote down in and cover back up before they drop the vault on it. And that's my opinion. I will keep it. And I think if they want to find Summer, that's probably where they're going to find her at. That's where they're going to find her at. Just saying. And that greasy ass hillbilly lives down there too. Matter of fact, he had his little greasy ass up on the hill, turd pop sucking with the whales, right? I do believe I remember it. And to be honest with you, I don't have no more respect for him than anybody else in that area. Just saying. I mean, he looks like his britches could stand up in a corner by themselves as well. And that's how these people live. That's just my opinion. And and I'm going to be honest, what he dates shows a lot of his character too, right? What he's dating shows a lot of his character as well. Just saying. I mean, you got to be gross. You got to be gross, and you got to you got to be really gross. And this is my own opinion, but you've got to be really gross to be, dating up with something that, uses foreign objects, tries to swallow whole bananas, to try to turn somebody on. I mean, you got to be pretty disgusting. You got to be pretty damn disgusting to hang around with that. That's just my opinion. I'm going to keep that as well. Right? Evil attracts evil. So I don't have no respect for him at all. I mean, they went to the dark side, right? They went to the dark side. You go to the dark side, usually you can't come back. You can't come back. You can't play the middle. And they definitely on the dark side. Exactly. There's trashy and classy, and they're definitely trashy. That's true. No doubt in my mind. Oh yeah, that is so true, Carmen. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh. For real? Wow. That is so freaking messed up, Smith. That is so fucking messed up right there. They should take all 7 of those children and not ever give them back. Who does this kind of stuff? This, I'm going to tell you something. There is some type of a thing going on with this stuff. I mean, there's more cases of this now than like ever before. Like, I don't know if it's because, the internet, and we're just hearing more about it, or, got more exposure. But this is sick. This is really, really freaking sick. I'm going to tell you something. I thought it was bad. I thought it was really bad that, they were holding adoptions. They were holding adoptions on, on the internet like that. Basically, these people would go and get these kids, right? They would adopt, these families would go adopt these kids. And then they would find out they don't want these kids, some reason they don't want them no more. And then what they would do is they would, offer them up on the internet. They would actually offer these children up to other families on the internet. And they come and drop those kids off onto another family. And it's like, and there for a while, they were getting away with it. It was basically legal stuff. Paperwork being done, and to be able to do that. And, with different families, and, and some of those kids were, going through 5, 6, 7, 8 families, weird families that, wasn't even going through an adoption agency. They were just, trading hands through the internet, which was, totally insane, if you ask me, but people caught on to it, and, and then they made laws to start monitoring it and all the stuff. But, to do what she just wrote, oh my freaking goodness. And a lot of it's been happening lately, more so in the last 5-10 years than ever before. Where these people are, actually trafficking kids. I mean, it got real bad. I think the trafficking stuff got real super bad in the 90s. In the 90s, it was on low key. And in the early 2000s, it was, it was really, it was getting so rampant. In the early 2000s, people started to become aware of it, right? To be aware, to watch your kids at the malls, watch your children in the store, watch your kids, because these people are, snatching them up and trying to get away with them. And you're always thinking, oh, this ain't going to happen to me. Well, yeah, it could. It could. And like that, a split second's all it takes for you to become a victim to these sick people. That's all it takes. 1 second, not watching your child, and it be gone. You cannot take your eyes off your children anymore. And, it's so unsafe. And it's so unsafe that, there's security at the schools. Even the parents can't, you no longer can go into the school buildings and, and talk with the teachers and correspond with the people in there and keep an eye on your kids or take them lunch, or if they forgot it or what, that ain't happening no more. That isn't happening no more. Everything has to be locked down, secure. I mean, your children are basically in a lunchbox, right? Your children are basically in a lunchbox. They're locked up and locked away inside these schools, even from you, because society is so evil now. Everything's so evil. They're not safe anywhere. They're not safe in school. They're not safe in their yards. They're not safe, they're not safe at any stores or malls or anything. They're not safe on any playgrounds or parks. Your children are not safe. Matter of fact, I seen some videos. I think it was in New York City, where these people were picking their kids up from school. This grandmother, she was picking up the children from school, and she starts walking. She starts to walk, home with them. And this car pulls up. This guy jumps out. He grabs one of the kids. She grabs onto him, starts fighting him, right? And screaming. And some other people come, to help. And he runs, he lets go of the kid finally and runs, jumps in the car and leaves. Well, that's how bad it's getting. It's getting so bad that you think you can go out there you can go out and take a walk with your child around the block, and a car could pull up and just try to take it. It doesn't matter if you're there or not. That's how bold they're getting. They're getting so bold, it don't matter if you're there or you ain't. They think they can overpower you to get what they want. And that's what Don Wells was doing during the 911 call. He felt he could overpower everyone in the household to get what he wanted. Summer, right? And that's how bad it's getting now. And and that's why law enforcement doesn't care. That's why it's legal now. It's legal to carry. You have to be carrying. If you want to keep your family safe, you have to be carrying. You got to be ready to do what it takes to keep your children and yourself safe. It's just the way it is. Because these people are getting really freaking evil. They're getting bold and forceful. And you got to do what it takes. And I tell you, I sure to hell do it. I do what it takes to protect myself and my family. Absolutely. You got to be ready for this stuff. You got to be ready for it now. I mean, that's how evil it's gotten. Well, people ain't pushing for righteousness anymore. You know, they've got the world now is trying to brainwash people into believing that righteousness is wrong. Righteousness is wrong and evil is good. That you should feel sorry for all the evil people, that you should put up with all the evil people, that you should, be on all the evil people's side and against all the righteous ones. Because them righteous people, they're holy rollers, law enforcement's bullies, all the righteous people are wrong, and all the evil people are right. And they want to brainwash you into believing that shit. And a lot of people are getting brainwashed. I'm going to tell you right now, right is right and wrong is wrong. And it's always going, from the beginning of time, right was right and wrong was wrong. And it ain't changed today. It has not changed today. Law enforcement is not bullies. Law enforcement has to go up against these evil people who will get out of their vehicle with you right there and try to overpower you to take whatever they want from you. That's who law enforcement's coming up against. They're not bullies. The bully's the one that they're trying to restrain and put away where they belong so you could be safe. They're trying to overpower the bully that's trying to overpower you. They're trying to do righteousness, but evil's got you believing that law enforcement are the evil ones. And that's why law enforcement, like God will eventually turn his back on evil people. He'll turn them over to a reprobate mind. Well, law enforcement's the same way. They'll turn their back on you and let you have to handle these people yourself. They're not going to show up to hear people hollering how they bullied somebody. They're not going to show up for that. I mean, you got to make up your mind. Either you want their help or you don't. You want to be protected or you don't. You want righteousness to prevail or do you want evilness? We the people got to make our choices. Evil, there's a lot higher level of evil than what we see. There is a way higher level of evilness pushing all of this. And that's what people don't understand. And they're pushing. They came out and said, time out, no spanking your child. No, you're going to get in trouble. We're going to take your kids. We're going to do all this stuff. Your kids got to be timed out. No more, swatting children in school. No more whipping children at home. No more teaching children, to walk the righteous path and to mind themselves and to be good people. It's going to be time out so that these kids, feel safe to act any way they want because nobody can do nothing about it. And these kids will be evil. And that's what you got. You got a bunch of evilness running around because parents felt that their hands were tied and they just let those kids go. And those kids, you know, went. They went to the dark side. And you know, and they'll raise kids. They'll raise what, you know, what they are. They'll raise what they are, and the world will just get more evil and more evil and more evil. You ain't seen nothing yet. You ain't seen nothing yet. I mean, I know a lot of people say, "Oh, I think I've seen it all." No, you ain't seen it all. We haven't seen anything yet. I mean, yeah, doing what they do to children, that's evil. That's really evil. What they do to young teens and young adults and middle-aged adults and old people, right? What they do to old people in these old folks' homes and stuff, you know. In my opinion, you know, we hear about a lot of cases of old people in these old folks' homes getting very abused, right? You know, in many different ways. And, you know, that's what it is. You know, that's what it is. And you think, you know, you've heard about all the, how could this world get any more evil, Lord? Well, I'm going to tell you, you better read Revelations. Because in Revelations, it tells you that the beast is going to rise up, right? This beast is going to rise up. And the Antichrist is going to rise up. And when they rise up, oh boy, you want to talk about evil? You ain't seen evil yet. And those people that, you know, think that they're evil, like Dawn, Candace, those people think they're evil. Oh, let me tell you something. They're going to learn what real evilness is. Only problem is it's going to be on them. Where they're used to being on other people, like, you know, 4-year-old little girls, 5-year-old little girls. Oh, it's going to be on them. Right? They're going to really find out what evilness is. And the righteous people ain't going to be here. The righteous people ain't going to be here to endure all of that. They're going to be gone. Because the Holy Spirit has to, you know, the Holy Spirit has to lift up off the earth before the beast and before the Antichrist can rise up. The Holy Spirit has to be off the earth. And the only way for the Holy Spirit to get off the earth is for all the righteous people to be taken up. And that's what they call the rapture. And all the righteous people will be removed off the earth. And then the Antichrist, the beast and the Antichrist, they'll rise up. And all those people left behind, well, they're evil, right? But they're about to see real evil. They're about to see what they've been given, they're going to start getting, right? And they're going to wish they'd have been good. And they'd have wished they went up too, but they're not going to be going up because they got left behind. That was their choice. That was their choice. Deal with it. Hey, I'm going to tell you, the devil's been around for a lot of years. Been around, you know, the devil's crafty, man. Every trick, he knows every trick there is. Every trick there is. He knows, you know, he knows every human's weaknesses, right? And he'll try to get you to sin any way he can. Because he wants your soul in hell. He wants to get as many people as he can down there to torture for eternity. Because he knows he's going to be there. And he wants as many people down there as he can get for him and his evil ones to torture. And I'm talking about him and the unclean spirits that house people and the demons and stuff. That's who's going to be with the devil torturing. They're going to be torturing all those people that they were able to house up and get to do evil stuff. That's who they're going to be torturing. And they're going to do that for eternity down there. So if you think it's going to be a picnic in hell, you're wrong. Ain't going to be no picnic in hell. That's going to be one scary place. Hey, Jesus is real. And so is God Almighty. And I'm going to tell you, their way is the best way to live. Personally, I like liking everybody. I like being a good person. I like helping other people. I like being who I am. And I love God and his son, Jesus Christ. And I want to be a good person. I strive to be that way because that's the best way to live. I love being full of the light. I like making everybody's life better, not worse. I want to live that way. I like being able to be trusted. I like being able to be trusted by people, not to steal from them, lie to them, screw them over. I like being who I am. And I like people like myself. I love people who know how to be righteous. And I want to be righteous. There ain't nothing wrong with wanting to be a good person in this world. Nothing wrong with it at all. And you don't have to take evil people's crap to be a good person. You don't have to do that. God gave you a suit of armor to stand up, to be able to stand up against evilness, to be able to, to put it down instead of allowing it to put you down. It will run you over if you don't stop it. You got to know how to stand up and stand against it. Make it flee you. Make it flee you. It'll want to flee you. It'll want to flee you. When it finds out you're not going to put up with it. People say, oh, PG's not a Christian. Yeah, I am. I just ain't one that's going to let you run me over. I'm not going to huddle up in some corner and take your BS. I'm not going to do it. I don't have to. I don't have to. And I'm not going to. So don't fuck with me. I've been fucked with enough. I won't be fucked with anymore, right? I think we've all met that certain line where we're just done with putting up with evil people. Stay away from me, and I'll definitely stay away from you, right? I don't seek nothing. I do not go seeking no sinisterness. Don't come seeking me. That'd be your bad, not mine. I'm one of those people that I feel that if God wants me to take care of a problem, he'll send it to me. Right? It'll come looking. That's just how that's how I roll. I'm the nicest person you ever want to meet. Until you change me. No, he doesn't expect us to put up with evil people. I'm going to tell you something about evil people. They prey on Christians. They prey on Christians. There is evil people will go to church and they will seek people out to get their foot through the door so they can use and abuse them Christian people for money, for all kinds of things. They will destroy your whole family. They will destroy your whole family if you let them slide that dirty boot through your door. You got to close the door on that. You got to see it coming and you got to shut the door on it. That's just the way it is. You know? I don't start anything, but I'm not going to run from it. I'm going to say, Lord, I need Jesus to hold my coat. Right? And I tell you, he's held my coat many times. Trust and believe me. He's held my coat many times. I truly believe if God brings you to it, he's bringing you through it. Don't be scared. Stay calm, and let it roll. You'd be surprised what you could achieve by just staying calm. Anyway, I think we got a good handle on what we're dealing with in the Summer Moon Utah Wells case. I think we can fully understand, probably fully agree, that there was some very sinister stuff going on up at 110 Ben Hill Road. I think that we all pretty much by now understand something went wrong and there was people having to save their backsides from a prison cell. That's my opinion. I'll keep it. Now, where is Summer? Where is Summer? And why is law enforcement not working harder to find her? Now, I know that gravesite has probably been turned in to Hawkins County and TBI multiple times. I know for a fact that it's been reported more than once. More than once. More than once. So why is it not getting looked into? Why are they playing around with it? Because that's what they're doing. They're playing with it. And I don't like that. I don't like that. You got to ask, what the hell's going on? Because the cemetery's right there. It wouldn't take nothing to look into it and to just let people know if they came up with something or not, right? To let people know, hey, we hear your concern. We are looking into it. We've looked into it now, and we found something or we didn't. How hard is that? How hard is that? I don't think it's hard at all. But I'm going to tell you something. I played you 2 videotapes tonight. 2 that are very incriminating to the Wells. Very incriminating to Don and Candace. They showed that Don was the aggressor And Candace, well, she was the supporter to the aggressor, right? So we had one doing it, and the other one aiding and abetting it, right? She was an aid and abetting the evilness, right? That's exactly what we saw, right? Candace Wells was the devil's advocate. She was not protecting any of her children, especially Summer, who needed all the protection she could get. We heard them say that they allowed a grown-ass man come in and have at this little girl in a very sick and sinister way while they videoed it. And they sold that video. And they thought it was the funniest thing when the boss calls and asks us why. You tell me. You tell me. Right? I'm going to tell you something. If I was sitting in the chat tonight and I heard these two videos, I would record them on my phone. And I think I would give TBI a phone call and say, I need you to listen to this. Now, I need to know why something ain't being done in the Summer Moon Utah Wells case. Because I know if that was anybody else, going at their child like that, anybody else admitting to allowing other people to go at it, my ass would be in jail. So what's going on? There you go. There you go. You are Summer's army. You are her army. You are her voice. If you really want to help her, well, take a few minutes, record it up, and play it in the ears that are supposed to be caring. The one that gets paid to care, called law enforcement, right? Play it in their ear. And while you're at it, ask why they're not checking Morrison Cemetery for this little girl when so many people surrounding the case are saying that's where she is. Why are they not checking it when Andy Bernard, who is a suspect, said she's there? And Jody Sue Brown, suspect, said she's there. And Chad Arnold and other ones are over there stocking the grave up because it seems like she's there. Why are they not taking, why is it so hard for them to at least eliminate it? To at least eliminate it. I thought they have to follow every lead. Well, this is a lead, and it's a solid lead because it's coming from, you know, the very neighbors across the road and the people surrounding this little girl, like Marlena Crawford, Chad Arnold's, Jimmy Long's. Why is it not being looked into? That's a question. And you have a right to know. Summer doesn't have a voice, and you were chosen to be a voice for her. You were chosen to be her voice. So if you don't do anything else for her ever, do that. Do that. At least let's try to get her found. Put a 1 in the chat if you're going to be a voice. I like to know who is and who ain't going to be advocating for Summer. I've already made phone calls, and I've already had phone calls made. I've been out here just like all of you for over 4 years advocating for this little girl. I have made phone calls all over the place. I have made phone calls that Candace should have been making, but it was PG making them instead. I have called everything from hotels, demanding to talk to someone about children seen there that supposedly look like Summer, to calling TBI, to calling Hopkins County, to calling even the feds. I've called it all. And I've been doing all I can. And I've been here every night, damn near it, calling out all the BS. So that we could actually get to the truth of what happened to this little girl. But you know, one person can't do it all. Summer has an army, and it's going to take that army to help get this grave looked into. It's going to take all of you to help. When people stand together as one, you can get things done. But one standing alone just ain't going to work. And I like to know that I'm not standing alone. I'd hate to think I'm standing alone. And I expect you guys to let me know I'm not standing alone. Second to none, I'm glad you let me know that, sweetie. Because sometimes I worry that I am. I appreciate that, Abigail. I appreciate that. You know, we all owe it to Summer. Every last one of us owe it to Summer. to advocate for her. We all owe it to her to do everything we can to get her found. All of us do. I'm going to tell you something. It's our job in this world to help others. God didn't put us here to help ourselves. He put us here to help one another. Like Jesus. Like Jesus helped everybody, not somebody. We're here to help too. So let us band together as one. And let us do all we can do to get that grave looked into. Let us do all we can do. You know, I hope I get up in the morning and I hope I'm getting busy signals when I'm trying to get through myself. And I'll be trying to get through too. Trust and believe me. I will be up and I will be trying to get through. I want to know. I have a need to know. I've got questions. I've got questions as to why this hasn't already been looked into, because it has been reported by numerous people already. And I know numerous more are reporting it come tomorrow morning. We want answers. Over 4 years is just too damn long. It's like nobody's been working on this baby's case, and we want to know why. We want to know why. So, give me a shout out. Give me a shout out on Facebook. And let me know tomorrow. Let me know how many people was a voice. If you were a voice, just basically tag me to PG. I was a voice. Light Summer's Facebook up. With me tagged to it. I was a voice. All you got to do is tag me. And it'll show up on Summer's feed. But I think you should want to know. I think you have every right to make a call and to know why people ain't in jail when they're saying the things that's being said. I think you got a right to make that call and want to know why they haven't checked that particular grave that these suspects keep saying she's over there in. Right? You've got a right, and I've got a right. And we all have a right to exercise our right. So let me know if you exercised yours come tomorrow. Oh, really? Because in America, like, I can call anywhere in the world and it don't cost me nothing. I mean, if I'm not telling anyone to do it. I'm saying it's your right if you want to do it. It's your right. I mean, if there's some reason that you don't want to or you can't, by all means, follow your heart. Follow your heart. I'm just saying it's your right. As her army, as, an advocate for this child, as a voice for Summer, it's your right. You have the right to know. I want to know. Absolutely. Well, Carrie, I tell you what, when we come in tomorrow night, you can tell me then. You can tell me then. You can put in the chat, I was a voice for Summer. I'm going to tell you, I think, me personally, I think if Summer has enough people wanting to know, it might get law enforcement to actually do something. But that's all up to you. It's all up to you. All right, you guys. Wow, they sent you a job application? I don't even bother to call Hawkins County because Detective Pruitt, he will just hang up on you. He will hang up on you. He's and when they hang up on you like that is, anytime you have an officer that hangs up on you like that, and that just lets you know, they're not trying to solve the case. When somebody don't want to hear what you have to say, then, because you could actually, be telling him the piece, the very piece they need to solve that case. But if he ain't going to listen, then something's up. They don't want to solve it. When you got an officer hanging the damn phone up on you, that lets you know they're not interested in solving the case. That's, that's my opinion. That's my opinion. Yeah, that's exactly, Abigail. Exactly. I'm just saying that, I think people should, pull together as one, like America used to do. Like America once did. One for all and all for one. There's only one race, and it's a human race. Stop letting people scatter us in different little groups. We need to learn how to band together again as one. As one. When you band together as one, you get shit done. You get stuff done. And it's time that we band together as one again in this country and start getting some things done. Start focusing on the real important stuff. Like why law enforcement ain't solving a case. Why they're not wanting to listen to the evidence. Why they're hanging up phones on people. Why they seem not to give a damn. That's my opinion. We need to start looking at important stuff. Like, why is our taxpayers' dollars paying for a whole lot of things that, you know, later is being sold and going into somebody else's pockets instead of back in the taxpayers' pockets, right? Like we pay for these schools, right? We pay for the schools and the teachers and everything, the land, the school, everything, keeping it up, our taxpayer. But when they tear a school down and they sell the property, it don't go back into our pockets. It goes somewhere else. But it was our money. These are the questions that need to be asked, right? Because we have a right to know. It was our money. Where did it go? And why did we not get a big kickback? Right? That's what I'm talking about. There's a lot of important things in this world we need to be focusing on. Exactly. Right? All right, you guys. I think I've held you up enough for one night. I'm going to head on out of here. I'm going to let you guys get some rest. But God willing, we'll be back here tomorrow night. We'll be back tomorrow night. And we'll compare notes. We'll compare notes to see, to see if we actually were able to get anywhere with getting this gravesite checked into. And to see if we could get some answers as to why these people are free to say the things they're saying. And why they got away. Why did Don Wells not go to jail when he was attacking his child like that? Why was Summer not pulled aside and talked to when they heard her screaming for help? Why was she not questioned? Why was she not talked to? Why was she not taken to a hospital to see if she was okay? Why was nothing done? Have you ever thought about that? Put a 1 in the chat if you've ever thought about that. We got a lot of questions. We'd like them answered. Yeah, I've thought about it quite often. What the hell's going on when they seem to just skip over what they bluntly heard, right? They bluntly heard that child screaming. They bluntly heard and knew she needed help. They bluntly knew she was the victim. But they didn't spend even a second. They dismissed her. And I don't understand why. What the hell's going on? Something ain't right. I think you're right, Abigail. I really do. I think you are so right. I have to agree. I have to agree. But I want to tell you guys what. I love you. And I truly thank y'all for being here and supporting Summer to the fullest. Every last one of you who are truly here for Summer Moon Utah Wells and truly love and want her to be found, brought home, and justice served. God bless each and every one of you. In the name of his son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Keep those prayers going up for this little girl. Keep them going up for her, because I know God's listening. Keep them going up for the rest of these missing kids. And keep them going up for one another. Good night, everybody. God bless. Much, much love.